you're going to find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Up front, they are getting away, but Lee Aberdeen and Luca Barani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Hay deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin. And I would say it's not the best decision I've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on, too much feet on the loud pedal, and approaches dropped to all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. It definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well. Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third. Yeah, Barani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is all. Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of the line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's just like trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Bill Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot to have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, look at the Johnson. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line, though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now, though, for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome today to the FRCC once again. And, well, the Fun Run Cup Championship packs its bags from the last round and takes itself off to the Tsukuba circuit, the 2000 full layout, that is, of this circuit as well. We have the lovely Kia Optimas running around here today, so it's going to be some good action from all these guys here tonight as well. Not a huge number of cars on the grid, but nevertheless I'm sure we'll be filled with a lot of great action tonight, so really looking forward to seeing what these guys can do. It's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. But what we'll do is we will look at bringing you the standings in just a moment's time then, and I can believe, yes, we have that now for you just here. Very unprofessional of me to not have this all set up ready, but we'll bring them to you in just a moment then, because things have been a little all over the place for me here today. So yeah, there's been a bit of a few issues, shall we say, which is why the broadcast was a little late going up, but we got it up nonetheless in the end, so that's the main thing there. So let's go through your standings then for the championship. So at the minute, Patrick Thompson is your leader, then followed by Daniel Wareham, who's in P2 on 78 points. There's a little gap between those two, but nothing too huge, but a gap even closer is Alan McCain and Daniel Wareham. Alan McCain in P3 at the minute. Craig Waters P4, Fraser Garrity P5, Derek Crowther P6, Kev Eilert P7, Stuart Rice P8, Chris Barnes P9, Alexander Longu P10. That rounds off your top 10 there. Scott Kostrick P11, Aaron Smith P12, Stuart Gibbons P13, Jack Johns P14, Steve Woodcock P15, Robert Williams P16, and Mr. Dan Mould in P17 there. So that is your list of standings just there for you then. There will be obviously some people that will slightly benefit from tonight, because not all the drivers are out there tonight, so there are going to be some more beneficial races for some drivers tonight. So let's see what these guys can do, and hopefully you have some nice clean racing. At the minute, your leader is Mr. Daniel Wareham, who is currently sitting in the pits, I believe, at the moment. Yes, there he is, with the most interesting selfie in this league, I think. The soapy suds of Daniel Wareham out in P1 at the minute with that quick time. Aaron Smith just behind him. Your championship leader is in a slightly different position to what we're used to seeing him. He's currently in P8. So it just shows how close the times really are. Stuart Rice is 1.1 seconds behind the lead time. Williams 1.2, and Alexander Longu is in 1.7 behind the time. But overall, we're going to have a fairly tight grid, just over 10 cars on tonight's grid as well. So look forward to seeing what happens tonight. We should be treated to some good action as always, and the battle between the two Americans on track is Aaron Smith and Mr. Knight, Austin Knight. He's one of the more recent joiners in our league. But yeah, really looking forward to what these guys can actually get up to out here on track tonight. It should be good fun. The track temps are quite low as well. We'll get them up just on the side here, so you can see it's 27% chance of rain, but we all know iRacing, so we know that won't happen. It is partly cloudy out there. The track temp is 26 degrees and there's only a 3 km/h wind speed. 22 degrees in the air, so the track temp is up only by 4 compared to the air temp, which is good. So nice cool track means that these guys should be able to push on a little bit harder here tonight as well. So looking forward to that then. But let's make sure that everything was all up to date, and so it is. So remember, in this championship, it is a free to enter championship. It's a lovely way to spend your Tuesday evening. You know, come settle down here every 2 weeks. The Tuesday in between the Fun Cup week, which is this week. So in the alternate Tuesday, we're looking to set up a Ford Legends League. So we'll have a Ford Legends League also run through the live leagues. So it'll be Fun Cup 1 week and then Legends the other. So that should be getting underway soon. So we'll be looking forward to seeing loads of those Legends going around here, because what we saw in round 1 was the Legends around Lime Rock, and well, what a race that was. Carnage, but absolute beautiful racing from there were a few moments there that were absolutely outstanding, and people seem to love that car no matter where they finished or what happened on the grid. So it just seems to be one of them fun cars you can go out there and just have a right old laugh with. So yeah, we're going to look to bring a full league of that for you all. So we're hoping to run that on the alternate Tuesday, which should be good. Looking forward to seeing that. But I am in the booth on my lonesome today, and well, I have just noticed there has been a name that's just popped up on my standings. He hasn't obviously gone out and put a time there out on track yet, but he has joined our session, and that is Mr. Kev Eilert. Kev Eilert was one of the people that said he may not be able to make it tonight. I know I'm not going to name and shame people, but I know I've had a few DMs from people saying that they hate the track or they hate the car and they don't want to drive it at all, which is fair enough. It's a fun cup at the end of the day. You race the ones you want to race, you don't have to race them all. So there are going to be some races where the attendance is a little lower, but nevertheless the show must go on. So these guys are really sort of maximising their efforts at possibly getting a trophy. The top 3 will be getting trophy and cash prizes, so they have that to look forward to, at least, if they manage to get up there at the end of the season. Obviously the top 3 at the minute, they've got a little while to go. We've got another 5 rounds yet to go here, but if they can keep the results up, this should be good. But what a night it could be for Mr. Knight or Mr. Wareham. Those two sitting near the top, so there could be a lot of points in it for these guys. Remember, there is a reverse grid as well. We're going to have 2 races. We'll go through the setup of those in just a moment. Just had to have a quick swig of the old drink. But so what we're looking at here then is for tonight's setup, we have, obviously we're coming up to the end of practice now. These laps are very short, as you can see, 50 odd seconds, and I think the slowest lap time there for Alexander on the grid at the minute is just over a minute long, so they're really not long laps at all. So we are potentially looking at 20 to 23 laps here tonight per race, because they are 2 20-minute races. But the setup is we have 12 minutes qualifying just after the practice session has lapsed, and then after the 12 minutes qualifying we'll go straight into the first race, which the grid is from qualifying position. So those that do take part in qualifying, get up a good time there, that's where they'll be starting on the grid. And then after that 20-minute race has finished, they'll have a 5-minute break or warm-up period, and then we'll go into the final 20-minute race, which does have a reverse grid. Sorry, just making sure the I had a few microphone issues before. It seems like everything goes wrong on Tuesday nights, so yeah, I need to try and get on top of that somehow. I'm not too sure how, but my PC seems to know whenever it's Tuesday and decides, nope, today's not the day. Well, Fraser Garrity at the minute is doing a sterling job in P6. Well, there was Mr. Alexander, there he is. And I don't know if Alexander may be struggling with the car a little bit, but obviously there is a little bit of damage on the front of that vehicle there. Now remember, these Kias are front wheel drive, so the cornering is slightly different compared to what some people are used to. A lot of people are used to the rear wheel drive vehicles and the GT cars. These you can kind of drag around the corner just a little bit more than what you would expect. There's Mr. Austin Knight, your current P1 sitter at the minute, your pole man in the practice session. Remember, Patrick Thompson is on an outlap at the minute. Let's quickly jump on board with him. Now, this man is leading the championship at the moment by, I think, just under 20 points. So he's got a bit of an advantage at the moment, but this position, if this is where he ends up qualifying, is not going to do him many favours being in P8. The only thing that might help is for race 2 with the reverse grid, but he kind of needs to get a little shift on, really, does Mr. Thompson there, because if he wants to maintain that advantage, he really does need to get his foot down. But at the same time, he might be able to relax a little bit, because the man that's in second isn't actually in the session tonight. So never know, maybe he's actually going to gain from that big time. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens, though, whether Patrick does improve on his time or not. At the minute, he's 1.1 seconds behind the lead time there, so there's a bit of time to find Mr. Thompson, so hopefully he can get a move on and get that time nailed, really, as we are approaching going into the last minute now of the practice session. You see a couple of cars have been off track from the tyre marks, but that is to be expected. But as it stands, there is only one class, so there's no AMs or pros. It is just one class, because it is just for fun. Obviously it is free to enter, so make sure you get yourselves involved. If you want to have random cars and random tracks each round, get yourselves involved and check out the FRCC. The Discord link can be put in the chat if it's needed, but hopefully you all enjoy the entertainment that we are going to be delivered tonight, as we are going to be making our way into qualifying in just a moment. Let's have a little look at Daniel Wareham's car, the NVIDIA Kia Optima there in the black and green, that comes around across the start finish line, and they're going to suddenly disappear in just a moment, because we're going to be going into qualifying. Well, I think the battling could be very interesting, because these cars do look a little big for this track, so it will be very interesting to see the battling going on. You can see Wareham really getting up onto the back end there of Alexander Longu, and well, that's one thing to look at there, is Alexander's actually improved his time. He's moved up to P9 overall, which is very good for him. So here we go then, we're going to be getting ready to jump into qualifying. You can see we're already 5 seconds into the qualifying session, and your championship leader will be the first one to leave the grid, or second one, sorry, to leave the grid. Is that a bit of front end damage already? A bit of bumping going on there, maybe between the two cars out, which is let's see if we can find who was at the front there. Is that Aaron Smith? I think it might have been. Yeah, it was Aaron Smith. So it could have been a bit of bumper to bumper, or maybe it was just my eyes. I think it's just my eyes, because I actually can't see that damage on there now. Maybe it's just the shape of the car. Probably not used to it, to be honest. But yeah, welcome in everyone if you are just joining. And obviously, don't forget, at the end of the broadcast, the main thing that a lot of the guys that do race part of the Fun Cup, I know a lot of them do look forward to the wheel spins, so we do have a couple of wheel spins, and they will be going on at the end of the broadcast, and that will determine what car and track we use next round. So that is something to look forward to there. Mr. Stuart Gibbons, who's actually stolen my number. The 47 is normally the one I go for, so I've gone for my secondary racing number, which is number 133, which actually runs in the family a little bit, that number, so that's a special number to me as well. But number 47 of Stuart Gibbons at the minute, plodding around nicely, and this will be on his first timed lap, so we should start to see times rolling in within the next minute. And well, I will say one thing, and those that do know me very well know that I like my milk, and I know it says muscle milk on Stuart's car, so I'm going to be supporting Stuart tonight. Got to do it for the milk. So looking forward to seeing how far Stuart Gibbons can get up the grid tonight then. So quite a few cars out on grid at the minute. We just don't have Chris Barnes, Scott Kostrick or Kev Arlett setting any times. They are all still in the pits at the moment. Hopefully they can get a time with us, or at least get out onto the start grid of the race. Now just under 10 minutes to go then in the qualifying session, and we're just going to stick on board with Mr. Gibbons to see what kind of lap times these guys are doing. And Knight goes top of the pops with a 58.9, then Stuart Rice with a 59.7, Gibbons with a 1 minute 0.3, or 1 minute and 3/10 of a second. So pretty much 1 minute flat there. So fantastic time for Mr. Gibbons. See where Daniel Wareham is. Wareham looks like he's come across the line. He's not on an out lap either from what I can see. So I think he's just had maybe an off track there as Mr. Wareham. But the times are starting to come in a bit quicker now then. You're seeing a couple of people over a second behind. Williams, Gibbons and Alexander there. Alexander being P6 overall as it stands at the moment. Daniel Wareham coming across the line though, only 4/10 off Mr. Knight, who's in the lead at the minute. Wareham is very quick in these cars. I think he does prefer the front wheel drive choice of vehicle. We do now have Senior Christopher Barnes out on track, so he's now going out to go set a lap time in the what I believe that is going to be a default livery which represents Triple P, if I'm not mistaken, the green, yellow and white there, as he goes around going on to his first timed lap on the slightly wider line through turn 1. And I think I might pick Chris Barnes actually to run me through a little lap around Tsukuba. So what we'll do is we'll jump into the cockpit with him, straight into the right-hander, then straight underneath the tyre display. And you've got to keep on that car, sort of the wheel 45 degrees to the left, and eventually you make it all the way around. There's a tight hairpin right down onto the back straight, bit of a wide line there for Barnes, but I'm sure he's just warming up. This is his first lap or two, I think, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But Knight just gone quickest with a 58.4. So very quick for him indeed, and Thompson's now P2. And well, this final corner I think some people may find a bit tricky. There's definitely going to be different kind of lines being taken through that final turn, and different points to where people put the accelerator back on, and who knows, there may be a bit of extra braking from others as well, so it'll be interesting to see what goes on there. But Barnes does come around to complete his lap with a 59.7, I believe I saw that was. So he's currently just behind Alexander, who's just improved on his time. So Barnes is sitting P10 at the moment. 2 cars behind him. Scott Kostrick hasn't set a time yet. And Kev Eilert, who is just back here, just an average sim racer. So make sure to go check out his channel. He normally does stream these events and sessions for the FRCC, so we do appreciate that. So his POV will be available to watch, I'm sure. Patrick Thompson, your championship leader, has actually just gone into pole position. His time has put him up onto the top, just in front of Senior Knight. 2/10 splitting the 2 cars up there then. Smith is now on his outlap at the moment in the pure yellow car there, Aaron Smith. Looking rather professional, I have to say, in his little profile picture down there. And he's coming up onto the back of the milk car of Stuart Gibbons. Stuart Gibbons, the car number 47 there, the Hyundai livery just ahead. Hyundai Racing Team Kia. Well, that's not something you see every day, but fair enough, we'll take it. I can't remember what livery I ran when I was running Kias now. I think it was the iKia livery, to be honest. So yeah, I just went with that kind of cheese on my vehicle. So there's certainly some different choices out there in terms of livery. A lot of people have just gone for the plain kind of, you know, we'll make our own, the default. As you can see, Aaron Smith has done such a thing as well in the pure yellow vehicle there. This has come around into turn 1. Now it seems to be getting the car slowed through turn 1 is an issue for a few people. It looks like Dan Wareham absolutely smashed turn 1 that time as he came around there, because I've noticed a few cars are taking a slightly wider line to what I'd expect. I'd expect wheels... Oh, sorry, that wasn't even first turn. What am I on about? I'm seeing like a few cars that get the front wheels kind of far away from the rumble strips. I thought they'd try and aim for the rumble strips. I could be wrong. That may not be the correct line through that turn at all, but we'll see what Dan Wareham does here on turn 1. And yeah, he does kind of touch it there, but then it sends it wide automatically. Okay, so maybe they are all taking the correct line, and in fact I'm wrong from my position in the booth and from the cameras that I can see. So apologies about that. I'm guessing that is my fault. But there he goes around the left-hand hairpin then. Coming up now through underneath the Dunlop tyre sign. Lovely line through there, and again you're holding that wheel at a 45-degree angle to the left, and you come around two slight left-hand corners before going into the hairpin on the right. You can see the brakes absolutely on fire in that Nvidia Kia down there. So lovely stuff from Mr. Wareham once again. I know he does put a bit of practice in for some of these events, so big shout out to all the racers that are out here tonight with us as well, and even those that aren't racing but are watching, big shout out to you guys as well. I know Deck Crowther, you're one of them, especially because I know you've DM'd me saying, you know, you weren't too keen on the track, but I appreciate your support for the series nonetheless. And well, I think that'll be Mr. Patrick Thompson that's just come out through the from the pits there, so they'll be coming up into the left-hander. Here we go. There goes Mr. Wareham, and there goes Mr. Patrick Thompson. Round through the left-hander. Evening all. Callum, you still winning the lower arms? I am still winning the lower arms. Not in this series, though, because there is no arms or pros. It is all one. But I am still winning the lower arms in the GT4, yes. So I'm looking forward to reigning supreme in the next race tomorrow night at Zolder. Looking forward to that. I haven't actually bought the track yet properly. Well, technically I have, but it wasn't my money that I used. So I do owe some money, but that's fine. I'll pay that off after this broadcast. But yeah, it should be good. Really looking forward to it. I'm watching too. Welcome in, John. I appreciate your support as well, buddy. I have to admit, after round one, I thought, oh no, the numbers are going down for the FRCC, but we've managed to keep it roughly balanced. So I do really appreciate all these drivers coming out and giving it a shot. But yeah, looking forward to Zolder tomorrow. I have to admit, it's not a track I've raced at all, well, much at all really on iRacing. I've done a little bit on Assetto Corsa Competizione, but not much on iRacing, the odd couple of laps here. But if I can hit 140s or whatever it was I said around there, I'll be happy. But yeah, welcome in everyone. Thank you very much for all your support. The only car we don't have out on track at the minute is Scott Kostrick, and unfortunately he's not even in the pits. So hopefully he is going to be with us. If not, we have 11 cars on the grid, and this man is P11, Kev Eilert. Now, Kev may not have been setting pole times all season. May have been the lower half of the table, but I have to admit, Kev Eilert is someone that I would aspire to be, I have to admit, because he seems to always have fun no matter where he is on the grid, and I'm kind of jealous of that. So really good stuff from Kev Eilert there. Just an average sim racer, like I say, go check out his POV. He normally does stream it. I don't know if he is today or not, but if he is, go check him out, show some love over there as well. But we only have 1 minute and 1 minute 30 seconds, shall we say, to go left of the qualifying session then, before we bring you your grid for the top, what's looking to be top 11, possibly 12 if Scott gets out with us on time. See where everybody is then. Let's have a little look at Chris Barnes. He's still going around, currently in P7. There's a car sitting off the side there. I think that was Stuart Rice because it suddenly disappeared. Alexander is still going around. He's currently in P10 at the minute. Senor Robert Williams. I see. I spot a matching livery. So these guys running the same livery here. Can't quite see what that is. It's the Boost livery. I remember seeing that on the old Trading Paints. Nice looking livery there. Nice chrome. Just trying to think who my livery of the day is. I'm not too sure, but we'll have a look at that as the race goes on, because we're going to see all these cars together very soon anyway. So looking forward to seeing that as we wrap up the last sort of 30 seconds here then in our qualifying session. You're currently seeing the man in pole, Patrick Thompson. He is he's done a sterling job, and I think that's Mr. Knight just behind him as well. So yeah, he's done a fantastic job to keep Knight at bay, 2 tenths ahead at the minute as well. He's actually going to pull off to the side because I think he's aware of oh, there's Austin Knight, sorry, it's Aaron Smith that's in the pure yellow. Come on Gibbo, says the chat. Yeah, come on Gibbo. I'm supporting Gibbo as well because he's got milk on his car. I support anyone that likes milk. But yeah, come on Gibbo. Fingers crossed he has a good little race here as well. So that'll be something to look forward to as we go to bring you your grid then. if it wouldn't be a pain. Patrick Thompson is your pole sitter. Austin Knight, P2. Aaron Smith, P3. Dan Wareham, P4. Chris Barnes, P5. Fraser Garrity, P6. Stuart Gibbons, P7. Stuart Rice, P8. Rob Williams, P9. Alexander Longu, P10. Kev Eilert in P11. And Scott Kostrick, P12. Hopefully we do see Scott on the grid. It's not going to be guaranteed, though, because he didn't set a lap time in the race. Unfortunately, we'll hide that logo because that just gets the pain because the background isn't gone. But you got a bit of a bigger battle box here, so you can see more of what's going on. And well, we'll just wait for all these cars to get on the grid. We're currently just waiting on Kev Eilert, Patrick Thompson, and Scott Kostrick. So the man that's highest on the grid at the minute is Mr. Austin Knight in his lovely anime livery there. And then you got Aaron Smith just behind that in the bright yellow. Dan Wareham just behind that. Christopher Barnes in the dark green wagon. And then you got Fraser Garrity just behind that. Stuart Gibbons in, obviously, the milk, white and blue. He's in P7, so those supporting in chat, there's your man there in P7. There's our leader that's just jumped onto the grid. We sit here looking at the cars then at Tsukuba Circuit, getting ready to seeing these guys go around here for 20 minutes, so we have around 20 odd laps to go. And while it's guaranteed that all these guys are going to get some fairly good points tonight, and they could leave some of the table in the dust if they all get out on track. It looks like Kev Eilert has joined us, and there we go. Scott Kostrick didn't make it out, unfortunately, so Scott Kostrick isn't with us, but the lights are up. 4 and 5. And it's green, 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 and not the quickest of starts off the line there for your race leader, or your pole sitter, should I say, because he's instantly been jumped by Dan Wareham and Austin Knight, who both overtaken very quickly off the start. They get a fantastic start off that standing there, and well, instantly the guy that finished P1 in qualifying is now into P3, which is Mr. Thompson. That's your championship leader. Oh, Knight has gone a little bit wide there into the hairpin. There's carnage at the back. Now, who's involved in that? There's a couple of cars getting off slow here, and unfortunately it's the one that people in the chat were rooting for. Stuart Gibbo is he's been caught up in a bit of an incident there. He's going to eventually turn it around and get going again. It's like Kev Eilert was involved, and a little damage on Alexander's car, but not a ton. But yeah, as it's, well, what I would say, it had a very neat start, and then it just got a bit squirrely towards that final, well, that first hairpin, that left-hander. That got a bit hairy around there as these guys come around to complete the first lap. Instantly, you've got Patrick Thompson trying to make a move on the inside of turn 1. They're corner to corner. He's kind of muscling his way through. He's going to have the outside line now through these S's and into the left-hand hairpin here. And, well, he's going to get that advantage because he's made the move. He's in front of the Nvidia car. There's a bit of contact there. He's put the brakes on to stabilise the car. And, well, he's maintained the position at the minute. P2 for your championship leader at the minute. 1.2 seconds behind Mr. Knight, who's out in front. That's the gap. You can see him there in the background. And, well, Thompson has a bit of catching to do, but if Knight can keep the pace up, it's not going to be easy because he's having to defend quite a bit to Dan Wareham at the minute, who's looking quick. Aaron Smith looks to make the move and does so. Gets by the Nvidia car there of Dan Wareham, who was wiggling his car all over there. So not too sure if he was quite happy with that move or not. Fraser Garrity just behind that then, and Christopher Barnes just 6/10 behind. He's kind of, I would say, probably just out of the slipstream. There's not going to be much useful slipstream on this track though, because it is so small and the straights are so small. Not going to be worth a lot. But you can see he's actually gaining quite a lot of time. Instantly lost gained 2/10, sorry, on Fraser Garrity just ahead there. So he's going to be attacking very shortly, I imagine. This is the battle from P2 all the way to P6. So all these cars are involved, and well, they're fairly close at the minute. They don't look miraculously close, but this has more turned into a battle for third, really, or fourth. Oh, if I can get my numbers right tonight, I'm all over the place. P4 in the front of this little pack of 3 here, then in the Nvidia livery. Daniel Wareham, Fraser Garrity in the middle, and then you've got Chris Barnes just at the back there. And well, let's have a little look at how it looks in Barnes' car. So you can see the two just up ahead. The back end's getting a little touchy around that right-hander hairpin. has come up the home straight. Then Smith has set the quickest lap time, a tenth quicker than the two in front of him. So that's going to be very interesting for Thompson. He's going to have to do a bit of defending there, I imagine. But look how much lock you do have to put on these cars sometimes. It's not an easy car to drive, especially on a track that's quite small as they all come around. Left-hand hairpin there, and once again, the back end of Fraser Garrity getting a bit squirrely then. And, well, it's not ideal when you've got Chris Barnes up behind you as close as what he is. Let's have a little look at Patrick Thompson. Is he having to defend much yet? Not quite yet to Smith. Let's jump down the grid then towards Rob Williams, who's in P7 in the minute, leading his little pack of three. Stuart Rice, his teammate, who I believe will both be under the Triple P name. Whether they're racing as a team or not, I don't know. They might just race each other, because it is all for fun at the end of the day, so there are not really any teams in this. But Williams and Rice may go at it. They're the same livery, though, but they got Alexander just behind him. Let's have a look at where Kev Arlett is then. He's now coming up to that tight, long right-hander, and Gibbo's just a bit up the straight, obviously, after that unfortunate earlier incident. Stuart Rice is currently taking the line that I was expecting people to take, where they keep their wheels on that rumble strip the whole time, and it looks to actually gained him a little bit of time now on Robert Williams just ahead. So he's really trying to keep his lines tight, and yeah, look how tight it's going to bring those two. Almost corner to corner on the corner exit there, and heading round underneath the Dunlop tyre. They still stay as they are, so P7 for Rob Williams, P8 for Stuart Rice, and then P9 for Alexander. Can Stuart Rice make the move? Can he get past Williams where he needs to, and possibly try and take that inside line, because he's looked very strong with taking inside lines here. So that is probably the move he's going to go for. I don't know if he'll fancy himself on the outside or not, but got full faith in him to send the move if he wants to do it. And Thompson's just set the quickest lap time of a 58.3, so he's going even quicker than your race leader in the minute, and they're probably going to get very close very shortly. Alexander seems to have got a fantastic run out of the final corner there, and he's within a few tenths now of Mr. Rice, and Mr. Rice has backed off a little bit of Mr. Williams just ahead. And, well, this is not going to be easy stuff to really get the overtake done where you need to. There's not many straights to get that move done, so you kind of need to do it in a corner, because, well, this track is made up of nothing but corners, so I wouldn't really deem these straights as straights, because they're not long enough to be, in my opinion. But these guys are doing a fantastic job so far. Not a bad go at all, and it seems like these guys are starting to spread out a little bit now, and Stuart Rice is, well, he's still got Alexander kind of... He's within the amber on your standing, so he's still close, and, well, he's going to be all over the mirrors of Mr. Rice, who's just ahead there. 3 tenths split the two at the moment. Not much between them whatsoever, and, well, let's have a little look. This is the view from the rear of Stuart Rice's car then. There's not much between the two at the minute, but let's just quickly pop over to Fraser Garrity's car, sorry. Fraser Garrity getting a little bit squirrely, but the time is a bit closer between these two. There's Christopher Barnes, you can see right in front of us on the screens, but he's right behind Mr. Garrity there. And, well, this could be an interesting battle then, because they were getting pretty close, and now the time has backed off just a little bit. So whether Fraser's car got a little bit squirrely in again and was unable to hold the back end as tight as what he would like, maybe lost him a bit of time to Chris Barnes. Chris Barnes has had a good, solid race so far. Everything looking nice and stable and sturdy as always. So that's good to see out there. But at the minute, your race or championship leader is tracking down your race leader of Mr. Austin Knight at the top. Patrick Thompson obviously trying to extend his advantage at the minute and bring this title home for himself. We've still got 5 rounds to go, so nothing's going to be set in stone mathematically yet, but he's edging closer and closer. He's the Max Verstappen of the league at the moment, is Patrick Thompson, so he's doing a fantastic job, and he's definitely got a Red Bull garage behind him, because he seems to be dominating most weeks. But Austin Knight, Aaron Smith and Daniel Wareham, those 3 names have given him a run for his money here tonight. In practice and qualifying, they've not made it easy for him, and well, if we look back at round 1 in the Ford Legends, Patrick Thompson was absolutely run away with it. He was very quick, and then we did have a couple of names that were challenging him that aren't here tonight, unfortunately, but these guys are really putting on a show and a battle for him. And, well, we've seen some easy overtakes, a couple here and there, but we've not seen these guys battle out yet properly, so this will be interesting to see how easy it is to get the overtake done and get that position that you so desire. Because Patrick Thompson really does want to see his name in the lights here tonight. He wants to get that P1 to maximise his advantage over P2. Because I believe P2 was Kev Eilert. No, not Kev Eilert, Alan McCain, who's not here tonight, unfortunately. But if he wants to maximise that, he does need to try and win this race. But you can see Austin Knight is slightly pulling away there on the straight. And it looks like Patrick Thompson goes a little later on the brakes, which drags him in and drags the two cars closer together. So it looks like a bit of late braking is benefiting Patrick Thompson here and pulling him in nice and slowly as well. So Stuart Gibbons is 31 seconds up the road. I mean, that is basically half a lap. So I don't think he'll be getting lapped this race. Hopefully not. It is not his fault if he does, though, because there was an earlier incident. Come on, Barnes, it's hammer time, says Dad Goes Racing. Let's have a little look at where Christopher Barnes is then. He's tucked behind the stand at the moment. Here he comes through the Dunlop tyre sign. Still just behind Fraser Garrity. He's biding his time really well here. And, well, as it stands, he'll be in front of Fraser Garrity for the reverse grid. Because that is a full reverse grid. But he ideally wants to get past him in this race. He's got the pace to do it. And he's not doing bad at all. Fraser Garrity's back end, it's got a little squirrely from time to time. Maybe that brake bias is slightly tweaked differently to some of the other Kias out there. Or maybe it's only his that I've picked up because of the camera angles we've had on Barnsley's car. But he's doing a great job at the minute. It's Barnes to try and catch up to Fraser Garrity. There's not much between the two. It does keep going up to around 7/10 though. So he's got to try and pull something a little extra out the bag to really close that time down. Once again, the man that's trying to keep Alexander Longu back in the background there is Stuart Rice here, and he's doing a fantastic job at the moment to keep him behind in his mirrors. Oof, didn't expect that one to come up. But he's doing very, very good job at the minute. You can see the brakes are on fire for all these Kias that are having a fantastic session so far on this circuit. I have to admit, I thought these would look a bit bigger on this track, but now actually seeing them here tonight, I think this wasn't too bad, to be fair, of a pick. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it wasn't too bad whatsoever. Let's say that to Barzy. Hammer time. He'll have someone up there. He may well do. He may well do. Deck. I wouldn't put it past him. But then again, he's having a great race so far. So hopefully he can keep it going. You can see Rob Williams just up the road. He's having a nice little race here, plodding along in quite a bit of space. He has got a bit of damage on that front right, so I don't know if maybe that's slowing him down and maybe he's not at his full pace potential. But he's certainly having a good job and a good go holding P7 there at the minute. Patrick Thompson, once again, he's getting ever so close to your race leader. And just as I say that, the time backs off once again. So he may be going later on the brakes, but I don't think that that's actually gaining him much of an advantage. Here's where he gets his advantage. He goes later on the brakes there, and you can see it does pull him right in. But I think because Knight goes into the corner slower, he comes out quicker. You can see he pulled away ever so slightly, but still he's within Patrick's shooting range now, and this is the closest these two have been. So I think I've talked this one up really. So Austin Knight is trying to do everything he can to keep Patrick Thompson behind. That is your championship leader at the moment. So Austin Knight is really doing everyone a favour if he can keep Thompson behind him. It's not going to be easy, but you've got to remember that these two that are battling out at the moment, they're going to be at the back of the grid for next race, and your P1 position is actually going to be Scott Kostrick. I don't believe he's here though, so that means that automatically Gibbons would fall onto the P1 position, but he's actually catching Kev Eilert pretty quickly, or he was certainly anyway. The time's going up a little bit now, but it seems like maybe he's a bit of a late breaker as well, because he's slowly catching Kev Eilert. Not much between those two now, 2.5. And there's a little off track there from what I saw from Kev Eilert, unfortunately, but he's back on track straight away. You know, I like to torment Barnsley Power. Yeah, no, I know you do, bud. I know you do. It's a shame we don't have you here tonight, but I understand your reasons, mate. So hopefully the random wheel will play nice, and next round we will have you in here and racing once again. But at the minute, 2 tenths is all that splits the top 2. Not much whatsoever. Patrick Thompson is on the chase, which has not happened often this season. Normally he's absolutely running away with things, but Austin Knight is really giving it a good go, and well, a sterling job he is doing at the minute as well, keeping it in P1. He's got just under well, just over 6.5 minutes, as I mentioned it there. So 6.5 minutes. My maths is completely off. What am I on about? Is it? No, it is right. 6.5 minutes. It was right. So he's got to try and his best to keep his position. And it looks like I've just had reports that, oh no, Mr. Longu, what happened? Oh well, yeah, that's gonna show me. That was very useful. There we go. Okay, so it's not actually gonna. So I believe what's just happened is he's just gone straight into the wall. Not too sure what's happening with the replay system. Everything's just going crazy tonight. But unfortunately, Alexander is in the pit lane, and he's the only car in the pit lane because Scott Kostrick unfortunately didn't make it out of us tonight. But Mr. Knight is still in the lead at the moment, and the gap has opened up to 5 tenths just that second ago. And well, he's still doing a very, very good job at keeping those cars behind. He doesn't seem to be under threat too much there in the anime livery. Out in the lead at the moment. Car number 210, he's up 1 position at the minute. Your highest amount of overtakes goes joint to Kev Eiler and Rob Williams. Both of those are up 2 positions at the moment. And well, corner to corner are the front 2 as it stands going through turn 1, but the order still remains the same. Mr. Knight is still in the lead with Patrick Thompson just chasing on behind. Not much between the two now as they come through the left-hander hairpin. Now going round the right underneath the Dunlop tyre advert. There it is. What a view that is as they come through 1 and 2. Well, what's going to give? Surely something has to give for one of these two to make the pass that they need to. And, well, with Alexander obviously having that incident a little earlier, unfortunately, that does sit him technically now for provisional pole for race 2. So he will be your leader for race 2 as it stands. Gibbons is doing pretty well because he's now within 6 tenths of Kev Eilert, so he's knocked off 2 seconds since we last spoke about him. So he's doing an absolute stellar job, as James Parfitt would say. Austin Knight is still doing fantastically though, and so is Patrick Thompson. Their pace is so similar. Smith is just off in the background. Daniel Wareham just behind him there, coming around turn 1. Fraser Garrity just behind that, then Chris Barnes. Gibbons is now getting closer. Here he is. Can Gibbo get the move done? Move up another position. Obviously, this is moving him down for race 2, but I think all he's going to care about is getting as many points as he can, because some of those people around him in the championship aren't actually here tonight, so he could profit from this. Just needs to try and keep his head cool, get the position done on Kev Eiler, and try not to impede his pace too much. I think 10 seconds might be a bit much to catch up to Stuart Rice, but I'm not going to knock Gibbons' pace off. He's had good pace all throughout this session, so he should be able to keep this one up. What we'll do is we'll get the track map up for you here as well, so you can see exactly where everyone is and what is going on. So there it is, just on the right hand side of your screens there, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that P1 and P2 at the minute going around the hairpin left-hander. Round to the right hand underneath the Dunlop sign. I just want to see if Stuart Gibbons can get this move done. He's still very close. This is the closest battle out on track at the moment by 1/10, because the leaders are only 3 tenths apart as well. But that battle seems to come down to a certain point, then it extends again. Knight seems to get a good exit out of the final right-hand hairpin, the penultimate turn on the lap. So that seems to be where Knight seems to gain his time again, and then Thompson regains it back at the end of the straight. But Gibbo is keeping very tight lines, and well, he's getting all over the back of Kev Eilert now, so he's got to try and get by. Hopefully on one of the straights, if he can get the exit speed correct and manage to pull away, that would be ideal for him. And there we go, side by side. He's going to take the outside line now, round the penultimate corner, round the hairpin. Doesn't have enough to gain the position though, so he's going to slot back in, but not by much though, because there's only a 10th split in the two, and it's going to go down. It's not even going to be a 10th by the time we hit this final corner into the braking zone. Gibbo a bit later on the brakes, keep on the track, don't go too far wide. They're still side by side through the final turn, out the home straight now. Let's get a bit of a different camera. Still side by side leading down the home straight. Doesn't matter where you are on the standings at the minute in the race, but these two are probably having the best battle out there tonight. As you can see, they're ultra close now, side by side, still going around here, and not much split in the two whatsoever. They are still bumper to bumper pretty much, but Stuart Gibbons does get the position done around the left-hander hairpin. Can he hold it from Kev Isler? He does so, and he's slightly pulled away already. 4/10 split the two. Can he pull away and get that to 5+ tenths? Because if he does, then he might be sitting a little bit more pretty in terms of Kev Isler not having much of a say in terms of a comeback. And there it is, 6-7 tenths up into the right-hander hairpin. Can he seem to hold it? No, he can't. A bit of a bad exit there for Stuart Gibbons. So does that mean that Kev Isler's going to come back on the attack? It looks like he will do. Sits behind for the slipstream. Opts to try and get the side-by-side. Does a little bit of waving in the mirror. Doesn't opt for it in the end. Trying to put Gibbo off by the looks of things. And Gibbons manages to hold his car nicely around there. Not really inside or outside line. Kind of middle of the track line through there. And, well, he's done an absolute stellar job there to get the position on Kev Isler, and Kev Isler's gone a bit wide into turn one, and there's now nearly a second between the two. Talking of a second between the two, that's the same for the leaders at the minute as well. But here we are then with Fraser Garrity and Daniel Wareham. Not much between these two. The Nvidia car of Mr. Wareham is going to have the inside line leading into the final turn of this lap, and well, here we go then. So Fraser Garrity is going to be on the bumper pretty much of Daniel Wareham, so it's going to be close between those three. Now this will be the final lap, I believe, as well. So this is it. This is what it comes down to. Your leaders are going through the right-hander as it stands at the moment. These guys are pretty much side by side. They're going to be side by side through the S-bends as they come down to the left-hander hairpin. And Daniel Wareham does have a slight disadvantage because he's slightly on the outside there, because Garrity's got his nose up the inside. Barnes is kind of just tailing on the back of this pack of three. And, well, this is a very tight battle between these three for the last lap or two here. And Gibbons is already 1 second behind Rice, so he's really caught up then, big time. Fraser Garrity's doing a sterling job, though. Let's have a look at Austin Knight. He's now coming around. Checkered flag is out. Barney is waving it as he comes across the line. Austin Knight, what a sterling job you've done in P1. Thompson P2. Aaron Smith P3. Let's have a look at this battle then. Who got the advantage? Daniel Wareham is on the outside line. Fraser Garrity on the inside line. Barnes just behind that. No contact between any of these guys. And, well, not by much whatsoever. Daniel Wareham gets the job done. Fraser Garrity just behind that, and Barnes just behind those two that are battling side by side. So great side by side battles for those guys. Rob Williams comes across in 7th, and we'll just wait for the rest of the cars to come by. Stuart Rice needs to try and make sure he gets a good exit out of here. Keep Gibbons at bay, because Gibbons is only 4 tenths behind him there. So Gibbo was on a big comeback drive there and really started picking up the pace as well. So fantastic drive there for Stuart Gibbons in the end. So what we'll do is we will look to bring you your results here in just a moment then. Let's have a little look at what we had there on display. So your Heat 1 results. Top points go to Austin Knight for round 1. For Heat 1, sorry. Patrick Thompson, P2, your championship leader. Done a fantastic job trying to get up there into P1. But unfortunately, Austin Knight just looked too strong, and he managed to keep that lead. Aaron Smith is in P3. He's your bottom step of the podium, but on the podium nonetheless. Dan Wareham just missing out on that podium position. Fraser Garrity marginally behind that by 4 thousandths of a second. Not much between those. Chris Barnes just in P6, 3 tenths behind those two. That were fighting side by side for the entirety of the last lap. Rob Williams P7, Stuart Rice P8, Stuart Gibbons P9, Kev Isler P10 had a good race as well. Alexander Longu, after that unfortunate earlier incident, P11, 2 laps down. And unfortunately, Scott Kostrick didn't get out on track with us in that race. But, well, what a race that was. There was kind of calmed down towards the middle of the race. And then all of a sudden, towards the end, things started really spicing up, which was nice. So that's good to see indeed. Great racing from all the guys out there as well. Unlucky Fraz, yeah, unlucky for him, but it was a great little race there. It was really good. Some side-by-side action right towards the end. Stuart Gibbons having a great comeback drive towards the end of the session there as well. So really good stuff from them. We got some practice starts going on. Kev Violet getting that car ready for his little practice start session as well. A lot of wheel spin on that thing. A lot of wheel spin on it. But he's got it moving nonetheless. That's the main thing. As long as you're moving, you got to try and get a little better of a start than what Patrick Thompson did. I think, unfortunately, that was the thing that let Patrick Thompson down in race 1, was his initial start off the grid. It really didn't help at all. The fact that his car seemed to bog down instantly off the start line. And that made P2 and P3 instantly jump him before we even got to turn 1. And you can imagine Tsukuba isn't a huge track, so there's not much time till turn 1. But somehow they managed to both get the jump on him and get in front before they even went into the braking zone of the first corner. Patrick Thompson there just a bit off the tracks, and oh, Aaron Smith also just making sure the barrier is working before the race too, so I appreciate you testing out those. We'll bring you your reverse grid as well in a few moments time. Remember, we do have the wheel spins ready. I have got them here. So just to go through some of the cars we have left, by the way, we have the Mazda MX-5 Cup, we have the Ray FF 1600, we have the Toyota GR86, we have the Cadillac, and the Cadillac, for those that don't know, runs in the same series as these Kias. So you may know the one I'm on about, but it's a pretty cool car, and I think it'll be interesting depending on what track it's on. And then we have the Pontiac Solstice as well. Now, in terms of tracks that we have left, we have Brands Hatch, we have Okayama, Oran Park, Alton Park, and Laguna Seca. So it seems like the random wheel doesn't like the tracks that begin with the letter O, because they are all left. None have actually been picked. We haven't had one this season, so yeah, all the ones that begin with O unfortunately haven't made it onto the round sheet just yet, but I'm sure they will do soon. So that's what we have left. So a good 5 rounds of action left to go, and well, some rounds will see higher numbers, some rounds will see lower numbers than this, but ultimately we will still see some good racing. A good bunch of racers out there, and fantastic support from all of them, like I said. They're all absolutely incredible, and I do appreciate each and every one of them for supporting myself in this, and obviously the live leagues as well. They're all doing a fantastic job out there every couple of weeks, popping out and giving it a good old shot, I'd say. I've just noticed that just had a look in our little Discord there, and Aaron Smith has managed to park his car, or park his Kia up on the signposts. I'm not too sure how he has done that. Bit of an interesting one there. But we're now finished the 5 minutes of the warm-up, and we will be looking to head straight into the final race of the evening. The last 20 minutes, the full reverse grid, remember, so that is still here, ready to go. Now let's get those results for you as well. So here is the grid. Scott Kostrick, who didn't get out of us for race 1, don't think he'll be here for race 2, is P1. Alexander Longu, P2. Kev Arlett, P3. Stuart Gibbons, P4. Stuart Rice, P5. Rob Williams, P6. Chris Barnes, P7. Fraser Garrity, P8. Dan Warren, P9. Aaron Smith, P10. Patrick Thompson, P11. And Austin Knight is P12. So there are your standings, folks, and that is how they are going to start this next race. So it's going to be tight, it's going to be tense. Things are going to be on for those that need the most points out of this session as well. Let's have a little look. Alexander Longu will technically be your P1 position because Kostrick isn't actually out on track. There's a bit of a jump start, I think, there towards the back of the track, unfortunately. And I think that's Fraser Garrity ended up getting a bit of a jump start and actually ended up in the back of the car ahead. And it looks like there's contact already. There's carnage. Chris Barnes is spun, it looks like Rob Williams around. Rob Williams has ended up hitting Stuart Rice as well. So Stuart Rice has got some contact and some damage on that car. Rob Williams has got some damage on that car. Chris Barnes has got damage on his car but managed to get around. Patrick Thompson has crashed as well. It seems to all be going off at the minute. It's just Demolition Derby at the moment. Just crashing all over the place, these guys. Remember, it is a fun league, so we're not taking anything too seriously, unless it's obviously malicious, then there will be words said. But these guys are all out there having fun at the minute, and well, let's have a little look. Unfortunately, Stuart Gibbons has gone off track. Let's see if we can just have a look at what happened in that carnage at the start. First of all, we've got Rob Williams had crashed, so let's have a little look at what happened here. He's gone 3 wide. 4 wide into turn 1, nowhere he can really go, just an absolute sandwich. Fortunately got spun out by Barnes there, and when he went to take the car off track, Stuart Rice went round behind him and unfortunately had a little tap in there. Let's see what happened to your championship leader as well. So he was kind of just tapping the back of Rob Williams. I think that actually sent him into the yellow car there on the right hand side, and he got damaged because Rob's car spun back into him. And I noticed that our championship leader did go off into the hairpins. We'll just have a look at this before we get back to the live action. And I completely missed the line there into the corner, and unfortunately the braking zone as well. And unfortunately goes into the wall. So almost like maximum damage for him. Stuart Gibbons is currently P5. Dan Wareham at the minute in P2. Kev Violet just behind that in P3. Kev's having a lovely little start here. Aaron Smith was actually that full yellow car that was on the inside of that sandwich, and he managed to get out pretty unscathed, to be fair, compared to some of the other cars, as we did take a look at a few of them there. And Smith did go quickest, but then Thompson's just put the quickest time up with a damaged car as well. I don't know how damaged that is though, because these Kias seem to take a beating and it doesn't affect the pace too much. But Thompson is now getting onto the back end of Stuart Gibbons. Can he get the move done though? Smith is also getting a bit close. Smith, we know, is a good racer, but I was going to say Kev Violet isn't the easiest to overtake, and Kev Violet has the exact correct line that he needs, which is the inside. What about Stuart Gibbons? Gibbons also took the inside line and managed to fend off Thompson. So Thompson's going to be getting a little frustrated. He's leading the championship, so he needs to get up the grid as much as he can. That car is crabbing though. He is crabbing that car, but somehow he's still done the fastest lap. Maybe the way it's crabbing, it's helping him go around the right hand corners, because the way that car's turning that corner looks so strange compared to the others behind him, but it looks so quick at the same time. So even with all that damage, he's still somehow lapping very quickly. 58.999 is the quickest time from Alexander at the front of the race then in P1 at the minute, with Dan Wareham just behind him, coming around the tight hairpin there. Oh, unfortunately Stuart Gibbons has spun, or he spun the back end up. He's going to lose the position to Stuart Rice. Stuart Rice goes through. Have a little look back here then. Stuart Rice has gone through, and Gibbons has retired to the pits, and he's got out of the car. Oh, Gibbo. He was doing lovely. He was doing lovely. Unfortunately, Gibbo is out of this race at the minute. Let's have a little look back here then at Barnes. Barnes in P7 at the moment. Not a bad position to be in, but he will feel like he's in a bit of no man's land at the moment as well. Same with Rob Williams and Fraser Garrity. Fraser Garrity's got a little bit of a chase to get on, to be fair. So if those guys can get their heads down, they could be able to pull some of this time back and manage to get a position or two. Remember, we are in this final 20-minute race, so there's no more after this. It's just the wheel spins to decide next round, but there's 15 minutes yet to go. So these guys have 15 minutes to get around the track. Now, can Patrick Thompson somehow get that car to P1, even though it's crabbing and it's heavily damaged? The pace of these guys up top, I don't know if it's looking like it could happen or not. He is closing down though. From P5, he is getting closer to Kev Islet there. just in front of him. You can see Stuart Rice just coming onto the straight in the background. There he goes, and Barnes is now coming up towards the hairpin, now getting onto that straight. There he goes. Not too much damage, to be fair, on Barnes' car. I don't think any at all, to be honest, actually. Having a look at that. And yeah, so this is how outrageous it is. Patrick Thompson is going quickest at the minute, and unfortunately Austin Knight has had a bit of an incident, bit of a collision. Alexander Longo still leading the race as it stands at the moment. Dan Wareham is... Oh, I was going to say he is pushing, but that pusher may have actually done him a bit more damage than what he'd expect, because Smith is now all over the rear of him and trying to gain that position up on Wareham there. Thompson's move up to P4. He's just got in front of Kev Eilert. Kev Eilert looking to attack back though. He's gone up the inside line of Patrick Thompson. So Thompson isn't going to be allowed to have that position too easily. Kev Eilert eventually sneaks in just behind him and holds his position. Tries to get on the slipstream, I believe. Is he going to look to make the move up the inside? No, he isn't, unfortunately. So he doesn't go for that in the end. Have a little look at Aaron Smith then in P3. Alexander Longo is having a little bit of a flicker there. So I'm sure something will be said at some point about that from one of these drivers, because it's not easy racing someone if they flicker. But Alexander Longo, to be fair to him, he's not flickering an awful lot. Dan Wareham unfortunately is off the track, and he's just pulled off to one side, and that's that really. Did I just completely miss that and he made contact, or did he just decide to pull off and that was enough? Yeah, it looked like he just decided to pull off, and he's had enough by the looks of things. So Dan Wareham has actually jumped to the pits. So Dan Wareham, even though he's running pretty high and pretty mighty, he's jumped to the pits. So now Smith leads this race because Longo has fallen down as well. Longo went off the track while we were watching the replay. What's happened here? Longo and Patrick Thompson's unfortunately had a little bit of a coming together, and that sent Alexander a bit off the track. He rejoins, but he rejoins unfortunately in P4. Aaron Smith, though, is your leader. 1.1 seconds up the road, or 1 second up the road now to Patrick Thompson. Kev Eilert in a fantastic position of P3 at the moment. Rice and Barnes have moved up, P5 and P6. Williams currently P8, Knight P7, Garrity P9. So 9 cars still out on the track at the minute. Wareham's gone into the pits, unknown as to why. But even if Wareham now sits in the pits till the end of the race, he's still guaranteed points nonetheless. And the time now is extending out 1.3 seconds now between Thompson. 1.3 seconds from Thompson to Eilert. 2.3 seconds from Eilert to Longo. So times are opening up. But remember, this happened last time. In race 1, these times opened up mid-race. And then towards the end, they started closing up once again and getting side by side. So can Smith carry this pace on? Does Thompson pull it back? Longo's got that red bar next to his name. That's never good. That means he's had a little off track, and my god, he has as well. Big damage on the front left of that Kia there, and that's not going to be good, because that's where your power's coming from, sir, because that is a front wheel drive Kia. Stuart Royce in his chrome boost wagon has come through. Car number 1 there. Well, it says 1 on his paint, but he's not actually car number 1, sorry, he's car number 8. I've looked at the 1 and thought, oh, car number 1, lovely, but he's not. He's car number 8. It's Stuart Royce, and he's currently in P4, so he's just gained that position from the mistake by Alexander Longo there. He's just down 3 positions, unfortunately. Not the most ideal situations there for him. As we watch these guys come around the final turn here, and unfortunately Alexander's going to go into the pits. They have got unlimited quick repairs though, so he should be able to go into the pit, get repaired and back out as soon as possible, because I've put the fast repairs on, and unfortunately he spun it up a bit on the pit entry. Is he just going to tow back to the pits now since he's right outside? It looks like he is. Yeah, straight back into the pits via tow then for Alexander there. Aaron Smith currently out at the moment. Let's get the track map up so we can clearly show you where everyone is on track at the moment. You can see they're coming up to the final hairpin now, leading on to the back straight for the final turn of the lap. And this is almost going to wrap up your first 10 minutes of racing. And with a severely damaged car, Patrick Thompson is somehow crabbing his way to the lead. Again, he finds himself in P2, tracking down your leader, which is Smith. So instead of it being Knight, the other American of the session takes over in Aaron Smith. And, well, Aaron Smith, I will say Aaron Smith the second, should I say, is currently leading this race, and he's done a mighty fine job as well. Needs to try and get that pace up or go very defensive and hold up Thompson to bring Kev Isler back into the mix as well, because if you could do that, then maybe those Kev Isler and Thompson will battle it out a little bit, which will slow both cars inevitably down, causing Smith to run away a little bit with the lead. But can Smith prioritise those parts of the track that Knight did, where he knows he's quicker and really uses that to his advantage? That'll be the key thing to do. Let's have a little look down here then, and it looks like, unfortunately, something's happened to Rob Williams. Not too sure what's going on there, but he's going a lot slower. Unless he just wanted to get out of the way, but I saw that him and Fraser Garrity were getting very close. Rob is still going incredibly slow, so I don't know if he's just cruising maybe. But he's actually got the leaders coming up just behind him. Here they are then, coming up to the first hairpin. There they go, round they go. There is Mr. Williams just up ahead, going very slowly indeed. So I'm not too sure what's going on with his car, if anything at all. He has pulled off to one side to let the leaders through, and going a tiniest bit quicker, but not much. Still not fully race pace yet by the looks of things. So we'll see what happens on the straight. Well, you can see how quick they're going compared to Williams. So maybe he's got a bit of an issue going on inside that car, or maybe he's sorting something out behind his setup there. Not too sure, but 6/10 split the top two at the moment, and this is the main battle on track as it stands then between Aaron Smith the second, who's looking very smart in his profile picture indeed, and Patrick Thompson for Olympus Esports team there, who's also looking like a pretty professional sport picture, I think. Patrick Thompson, you know, when you're running through the lineups of your teams and things like that, that's the kind of picture I'd expect to see. The picture of Thompson there, that's the pose I'd expect to see. So very professional looking for both drivers, and well, a professional job they're doing on track as well. Now, one thing that bugs me is it says Scott Kostrick is out on track, but he's not. But my SDK is lying to me, and it's telling me he is. But I can assure you guys in chat that he's not there. Remember, if you are enjoying the FRCC, or you're liking the racing that you're seeing tonight, or the commentary, or by some miracle something else, then do drop a like, share, and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Make sure you got that notifications bell on to be notified of all the racing that goes on the JPB YouTube channel. Aaron Smith, unfortunately, has touched the grass, and that's going to invite Thompson to take the inside line. Takes the inside line, gets the advantage. Can Smith get the cutback? Looks to go for it. The move isn't quite there because the door is already closed by Patrick Thompson. So now the chase is on for Aaron Smith. Unfortunately, he had that little slip up where he touched the grass, and that caused the car to get a bit squirrely, and he had to put the brakes on a little bit to stabilise by the looks of things. But there's only 2 tenths between them now, and Smith is on the chase with a perfectly working car as well. Not one speck of damage on there. A little scratch on the bodywork, I think, but that is about the most he's got on there. Whereas Patrick Thompson's car is doing a little crab rave down the back straight. You can see there how it's slightly crabbing out, and if anything, that'll make his car slightly wider when it comes to defending. So Smith won't really want to get involved with that too much, because he won't want to ruin his own race. He's got to be careful when he makes his move, but it's not going to be long until we see it, I think, because the time is closing. 3 tenths between the two, but remember, Thompson is a very late braker, it seems, around this track, and he does gain time into the braking zone, so he does seem to pull away by a tenth or two every time we brake hard for a corner. And there you go, look, you see, jumps straight up to 6 tenths, nearly 7 tenths into that turn. Midpoint, it goes all the way down, but then comes back up outside of the corner once again on the exit of the hairpin there. And well, up 10 positions is Thompson, up 8 positions is Aaron Smith. So these two have had an absolutely brilliant race. They shouldn't be fighting P1 and 2, but they certainly are at the minute. And well, Patrick Thompson, just as I was saying, you know, he shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be winning with such a damaged car, but he's doing a stellar job at the moment to keep that thing out in front. And well, Fantastic job indeed. So wonderful stuff here. 2 odd tenths split the 2 cars then for the race lead. You've got car number 29 leading the race at the minute, Patrick Thompson. Car number 70 is given the chase. Aaron Smith there in P2, bright yellow, you can't miss it. So that's probably a little bit of an advantage to Thompson, because you can't miss that car on this track being that bright yellow. Have a little look at what Rice is doing. Rice has got to overtake his teammate there, who is a blue flag car, but they might just battle out because they're all out there to have fun. But at the same time, Chris Barnes isn't far away, so this could turn into a 3-way Triple P battle. This will be a Triple P battle because there'll be the 3 Ps of Triple P there. And you can see there is a bit of damage on the car of Stuart Rice on the front right wheel, which obviously gives him that power in the front wheel drive Kias. But they are going bumper to bumper, and you wouldn't believe that one of these is a blue flag car. But Rob Williams has seemed to up the pace, and he's gone on to the inside line. Can Stuart Rice get the turn onto the inside line? Doesn't quite get it. But they're going to be bumper to bumper down the back straight. And, well, I know the leaders are close, but to be fair, this is a close battle. Even though Williams and... Oh, I was going to say Williams and Rice are on a different lap. But Rice has said, nope, I'm done battling you. And kind of sent him into the wall a little bit there. It looked like contact. I could be wrong, though, so I'm not going to point fingers. But from the angle I had, it looked like there could have been a bit of contact there. Rob Williams obviously goes into the pits. Let's have a little look here then. I don't think this is going to be the best camera to show us, unfortunately. See, it does look like there's a little contact there. Let's see if we can find a bit of a better angle there. No, you're not going to show us? Okay. Alright, never mind. We won't watch it back. But I don't think there's much contact there between the two. I think there's a bit of bumper-to-bumper stuff, if anything, but I'm sure there was no malicious intent in that at all. Those guys were probably just having a laugh anyway. But that brings Barnes within 2.1 seconds to Stuart Rice. So Stuart Rice really does need to get his head down, get some pace in that car to keep Barnes at bay, and it's not going to be an easy job, that's for sure. Barnes is a very quick racer, and especially in that VR as well. He's got some pace in him, so he's going to be giving it a good old go to try and get that position. Unfortunately, Williams is in the pits. He's sitting in P9 currently. Wareham is out, sadly, same as Gibbons. We've lost those two this race. Obviously, Williams is in the pits at the minute. Whether we'll lose him or not, I'm not too sure, but he's just sitting in the pits at the moment. Maybe he's just getting a repair and then come back out. He is coming back out. He's on the pit exit, so thank you very much, Mr. Williams, for coming back out and joining us back on track. That's very nice of you, sir. You've got plenty of space to rejoin now if you are on the pit exit, as it told me. Patrick Thompson, though, is just managing to fend off Mr. Smith. Not by much, though. We're coming into the last 2 minutes now of this race. And if Patrick Thompson wants his first win of the day, then he needs to get a move on. But it's not going to be easy. You can really see how much that Kia is crabbing. What a stellar job he's doing, though, around Tsukuba Circuit here. Managing to keep that car nice and tidy, even with the damage. And he's managing to keep Smith at bay. It's not been easy, though, because Smith has given him a hell of a run for his money. And, well, so did Knight on the race before as well. Unfortunately, there's a big collision at the start, which has kind of mixed up the grid completely. Unfortunately, some people didn't get the best of starts because of the collision, and others benefited massively from it. So it's a bit all over the place, but that is something I almost expected to happen in a way, because it is a very small circuit with these wonderful cars on there. And it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, they're going at it for round 2. Rob Williams and Stuart Rice are going at it once again, side by side, almost into the final hairpin. There's going to be contact there, door to door, and unfortunately there's more damage for Stuart Rice, more damage for Rob Williams, and they have changed positions. Stuart Rice is now in front. Does Rob Williams send a dive? Does he send him into the wall? Hopefully it's something clean, whatever it is. A bit later on the brakes, and he manages to get around that corner nice and tightly as well. So we're coming up to, I think this will be the white flag lap, and if not this one, it'll be next time round. There's the highly damaged car of Patrick Thompson. He's done very, very good to keep that thing going, though. I know I've said it a lot, but you can really see the damage on that thing showing, especially in the way it drives as well. It's not looking good at all, but he's made it look absolutely easy to make that thing go quickly around this circuit, but there's only 2 attempts between the top 2 now. All he's got is this final turn, and he could have the race win. 2 attempts, not even that between the 2 at the minute. That is slightly extending though, 2.5 tenths, 3, and he's got the race win with a very, very damaged car. Patrick Thompson gets the race win. Aaron Smith comes across in P2. Kev Eilert is going to have a very successful P3, a very relaxing race for Kev, really, because he got a bit in no man's land and has sort of been there in P3 since. So a wonderful finish for Eilert. Plenty of points there. Stuart Rice, who had some good battles with the car of Rob Williams, no matter what lap each car is on. And, well, there's a bit of triple P banter, and there is, please land it, please land it. Gymnastics at its finest. Stuart Rice lands the jump there at the end. Fraser Garrity is going to come across in P7, but even though they were on completely different laps, they did have a fantastic race and some good battling there, and fantastic show from Stuart Rice as well. Lovely bit of acrobatic celebration. We always love to see some people doing some flips and stuff, and Fraser Garrity has turned himself into a bit of cheese as he's got wedged between the 2 safety barriers there. So awesome stuff once again from everyone on track. It was truly wonderful to display tonight to you. Patrick Thompson is your race winner though for race number 2. The car number 29 there done a stellar job to bring that damaged car home in P1. Aaron Smith done a fantastic job, or Aaron Smith the second, sorry, done a fantastic job at finishing P2. Unfortunately, he couldn't keep Patrick behind him, but he kept with him. 2 attempts split those 2. Kev Eilert had a very successful race too, with a P3 finish. Stuart Rice just outside the podium and a lovely acrobatic finish in P4. Chris Barnes assisting him there with his acrobatics in P5. Austin Knight P6. Fraser Garrity P7. Alexander Longo in P8. Rob Williams also part of the gymnast team there in P9. Dan Warren P10. Stuart Gibbons, unfortunately, after earlier incident, P11. And Scott Kostrick P12. So great racing overall for those guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I do want to say is thank you very much to everyone that has joined us tonight. It's been absolutely wonderful. But what we're going to do is we're going to just get the wheel spins up here to have a look at what's happening next round. So here we go. We'll get one up on each side of the screen for you then. So this is what a lot of people are waiting for. Well done all. Spin those wheels. I will spin them indeed. We'll go with the track first. And then we'll go with the car after that. And see what is going on. So it looks like it's going to be Okayama for the next round then. So Okayama has been chosen for the next round. Now what car will be there? I would like to say Mazda's. Be a very simple setup, and it's not going to be. It's going to be the Ray 1600s by the looks of things. So there we go. We have our next round. Round 4 will be in 2 weeks' time at Okayama in the Ray FF 1600. So a wonderful little setup there, and oh, I'm looking forward to that one. It should be really good, to be fair. Very interested to see what happens, and I think it's going to bring some good racing. I think it certainly is going to be good racing. Let's have a little look at Mr. Knight then, because he is in the interview waiting room. That's a bit low down. Drag him up and then drag him up again. Mr. Knight, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Well, welcome in, sir. Welcome to the booth. And I saw you in the interview waiting room in the break, and unfortunately I saw it just a bit too late. But how are you feeling after those races here tonight?
Hey, I finally have a win, and it's just something I don't really get a lot of these, so I'm taking it. Race number 2. Hey, you know what? Some people get side by side into things. A lot of chaos is happening at the start. Patrick and I were getting through the field, and unfortunately, he got tapped by the car on the side, and unfortunately I got catapulted into it, got a meatball out of it. But you know what? Those things kind of happen. This car is a lot of fun for me to drive. Patrick was confused on how I was able to keep these tires alive, and I'll just tell you, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Just listen to that. This car just loves it. Also, I'm just now seeing the crabbing that Patrick's doing. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how he actually managed to bring that car around to the finish, especially in P1. He done an absolute amazing job. It was a bit tight at the start, though. Obviously, you were in a 4-wide sandwich. Well, just behind
I'm actually having a sandwich right now.
Yeah, you're just behind the 4-wide sandwich, should I say. And yeah, a bit chaotic of a start. But to be fair, after race 1, I don't think you can really be too upset about it, to be honest. Fantastic display. You and Thompson having really good battles there. And considering he's championship leader, you've done everyone a bit of a favour by holding him back a bit. So it was wonderful stuff from you there. But looking forward into the next round, we have Okayama with the race 1600. So what are your thoughts on that? How are you feeling looking forward to that one?
Okayama, very fun track. Glad we're staying in Japan. 1600. I'm gonna be honest. It's not as good as car with me in any front wheel drive car. Even though I think I'm only that qualifies me for only like 2 cars. So I'm probably just gonna be just going back for podiums and just having a fun time, chilling. Though some of the guys, they probably took it a little bit too seriously today. There's a few people who were not happy at the end of that race. I saw one car got sent off into space, but you know, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, and I'm always gonna be back here. Actually, no, not next week. Wait, no, we do this every other week. Right?
Every other week, because then the Ford Legends will soon be here.
I will be here.
Yeah.
I will be here next time because next week is my 29th birthday.
Oh well, there we go. Happy birthday then for next week, and then hopefully within the next sort of 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be looking at the calendar for the Ford Legends. So hopefully we'll see you in that as well. But wonderful stuff here tonight from yourself. Fantastic result, and well, wish you all the best leading forward, and yeah, I hope you have a lovely birthday, and we'll see you again next time.
Oh, and thank you. Before I head off, I also want to say thank you to my dad who gave me a sandwich in the middle of that second race. Oh, this thing is really good.
Okay, well, big shout out to Mr. Knight Senior. So fantastic work for the sandwich making by the pit stop crew there as well. So, Mr. Knight, hope you have a wonderful night, and we will see you again very soon.
Yeah, see you around. It was fun.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is Mr. Knight there. So fantastic result for him in that race. And like I said, a few people a bit unhappy, some people are happy, but at the end of the day, it's all for laughs. So, yeah, we're looking forward now to the next round, which will be in 2 weeks' time. So hopefully we'll see you again then in 2 weeks' time at the Okayama circuit with the Ray 1600s. Maybe the race will be a little bit closer because then, you know, you're not going to go door to door. You're going to go wheel to wheel instead. So that could be very interesting for some of these races. But we look forward to seeing you then in 2 weeks' time. But until then, make sure you subscribe, like, and turn that notification bell on, because then you'll get notified on all the fantastic racing coming on the JPB YouTube channel. Remember, tomorrow is the GT4s. I will also be trying to win the lower arms in that as the running joke goes on. But hopefully we'll see you all there, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks' time for the next Fun Run Cup Championship. But until then, stay safe and enjoy your track time. We'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.